The Emperor's New Clothes. Little Listener Stories. Once upon a time, there lived an emperor who loved clothes more than anything else in the whole wide world. He had closets full of fancy jackets, drawers stuffed with sparkly shirts, and rows of the most magnificent hats you've ever seen. Every morning, the emperor would spend hours getting dressed. He'd say in his deep, important voice, "Shall I wear my purple velvet coat today? Or my gold silk jacket? Or perhaps my cape with the diamond buttons?" The emperor loved his clothes so much that instead of spending time with his people or helping his kingdom, he spent all day looking at himself in the mirror. My, he'd say, "Don't I look absolutely wonderful?" One day, two sneaky strangers came to the kingdom. They knocked on the palace door and said to the guards, "We are the most amazing tailors in the world. We can make clothes so special, so magical, that only the smartest, wisest people can see them." When the emperor heard this, his eyes grew wide with excitement. "Clothes that only smart people can see? I must have some." The two strangers, who were really just tricksters, set up their pretend workshop. They sat at empty tables, moving their hands back and forth, pretending to weave with thread that wasn't there. "Oh, Emperor," they called out, "come see how beautiful your new clothes are." The emperor hurried over, but when he looked, he couldn't see anything at all. The tables were completely empty. "Oh no," thought the emperor, "I can't see any clothes. But the tailor said that only smart people can see them. Does that mean I'm not smart? I can't let anyone know I'm not smart enough." So the emperor said in his most confident voice, "Why, they're absolutely magnificent. The colors are so bright. The patterns are so intricate. Keep working." And so days passed, and the emperor's advisors came to check on the progress. They looked at the empty looms and saw nothing. But they thought, "Oh dear, we can't see the clothes either. We mustn't let anyone think we're not smart enough." "Incredible work," they told the tricksters. "Simply incredible." Finally, the day came for the emperor to wear his new clothes. The tricksters pretended to dress him, lifting invisible shirts and pretending to button invisible buttons. "There," they announced, "you look more magnificent than ever." The emperor looked in the mirror and saw himself in his underwear. But he smiled widely and declared, "Perfect! I'll wear these to the grand parade today." And so the emperor marched out of his palace, wearing nothing but his underwear, thinking he was dressed in the most beautiful clothes ever made. All the people lined the streets for the parade. They had heard that there were tailors making magical clothes for the emperor. But when they saw their emperor, they gasped. But then they thought, "The tailor said only smart people can see these special clothes. We don't want anyone to think we're not smart." So they all pretended and called out, "Beautiful! Wonderful! What amazing new clothes!" And the emperor strutted his stuff, walking down the street feeling very proud, waving to his people who were all pretending to see his magnificent outfit. But then, in the far back, a little child in the crowd pointed and said in a clear voice, "But he's not wearing any clothes at all!" The crowd fell silent. Everyone looked, and slowly, one by one, they began to whisper, "The child is right. He's just in his underwear. There are no clothes." Soon, everyone was talking and laughing, and the emperor realized what had happened. His cheeks turned bright red. He'd been tricked. But you know what? Instead of getting angry, the emperor started to laugh too. He had learned something very important that day. It's better to be honest than pretend to be something you're not. From that day on, the emperor spent less time worrying about fancy clothes and more time taking care of his people. And whenever someone tried to trick him again, he remembered that brave little child who wasn't afraid to tell the truth. The end. Remember, it's always better to be honest and true to yourself than pretend to be something you're not.